What if I told you that you could lose your money, your property, or your rights? Not because you're wrong, but because you do not know the law. Welcome to I Know the Law with Barrister Clara Benson. This is a channel that breaks down the law in plain language so you would not lose your freedom, your rights, or your property. So if you're a landlord or a tenant, or you're intending to be either of this video is definitely for you. And if you're yet to subscribe to this channel, kindly subscribe and like this video because we have so much in store for you that you cannot ignore. Today, I am just going to tip us off about what must be contained in your tenancy agreement. The core things that you must not ignore while drafting your tenancy agreement. You may put everything and anything, but you must not forget this. In any tenancy relationship, the first thing you must consider, whether as a landlord or a tenant, is the tenancy agreement. You cannot go into any tenancy relationship without an agreement. So many people, both landlord and tenant, they run away from it. I don't know what their reasons are, but it's very important. So first, your tenancy agreement, you may choose to make it oral or you may choose to make it documentary, but I will recommend that you make it documentary for ease of accessibility and precision. That way you will not be guessing anything. It will not be a situation of I said, you said, they said, and all of that. Make it clear, make it written, so that anybody looking at it would know that this is what was agreed. Is that okay? Like I said, it is to protect both you as the landlord and you looking at me as the tenant. So now talking about tenancy agreements. First, the parties, the name of the parties. What is the name of the landlord? What is the name of the tenant? It must be inside that your tenancy agreement. Number two is the rent. What is the agreed rent for the tenancy, that this relationship that you people want to begin? The rent. How much is the rent? How much is the tenant to pay? And when rent is paid, the next thing is receipt clause. I'm making this in no particular order, but while drafting, you know where and when to fix them. So if you pay your rent, there must be a receipt clause that the tenant has paid, that the landlord has received. Because if you just say rent has been paid and then there's nothing to show that he has received, Oyo is your case. Number three now is the duration of the tenancy. How long is this tenancy going to last? This money that is the tenant is paying, how long is it to when is it going to expire? Is it for 1 year? Is it for 2 years? Is it for how long? You must agree. Is it for 1 month? Is it for 6 months, 3 months? You must agree. Is it for 1 day? You must agree on the duration of the tenancy. That's where you hear of yearly tenant, monthly tenant, and all what have you. We have that to deal with in another episode. Next other thing that you must write in your tenancy agreement is the nature of the property. As a landlord, what are you giving out? Is it your entire compound? Is it the land in front of the house? Is it 1 room? Is it 1 bedroom flat, 2 bedroom flat, 3, 4, duplex? What is it you are giving to the tenant? It must be described in the tenancy agreement. So we call that nature of property. What's the nature of the property that you are giving out? Next is the renewal clause. This tenancy, if it expires, is there room for it to be renewed? Can the tenant continue? Or do you want it like it's a one-off thing, like as it immediately this one terminates to your tenant, oh Israel, I don't want you again. As a landlord, I don't want you again. As a tenant, it's a one term of go your way, I go my way. Or it is subject to renewal, like you have opportunity to renew again. Next is the termination clause. This really brings a lot of issues. In fact, because of how important this is, the law even makes provision for research that by the time other things are put in place and the law is able to know the duration of your tenancy, the law provides the termination, the length of notice to be given, how this kind of tenant can be removed from your house or ejected, like we will put it. So termination clause is very important. So in this termination clause, you're going to is usually determined in by has the tenant breached the tenancy agreement. So because of that, you have room to tell him to leave your house. Or is it, maybe we call it exclusion of time. In other words, the tenancy has come to an end, so there is no renewal again. So you ask the person to leave. How do you want this relationship that we have entered into to end? There has to be provision for that. We call it termination clause or determining clause. How do you want this tenancy determined? Then, most important in all of this also is the execution clause. Execution clause has to do with where both of you will now sign the paper, because if at the end of the day you write all these things down and the landlord does not sign or the tenant does not sign, it's as good as you have not done anything. So you have to execute your tenancy agreement. Execute it, in other words, it means sign it. In law, they say an unsigned paper is as good as your tissue paper in the toilet. So you must sign your tenancy agreement. We are going to consider the importance of having a tenancy agreement. You know, like I told us, tenancy agreement does not only protect just the landlord. It protects both the landlord and the tenant. So it is very important for both parties. I am going to just run through the key points of why you need to have a tenancy agreement. The must have, why you need a tenancy agreement. Number one is the fact that as a tenant, it prevents your landlord from increasing the rent anyhow. There will be no incessant increment of rent. Number two, as a landlord, it will prevent your tenant from overstaying in your house, because by the tenancy agreement, it would have told you what and what steps to follow and what you would need to do. The law provides all these things. These things are in the law. So with your tenancy agreement, you just know how to kick out a tenant that wants to give you headache. So all this right of I can decide to stay and whenever I want to move out, that's when I move out, will not arise if you have a good tenancy agreement in place. Another thing is the fact that as a tenant, it stops your landlord. If you have a tenancy agreement, your landlord is not going to kick you out at will or just come today and say you must leave my house. It gives you ample opportunity to be given notice before you are kicked out, set from the house. There must be due notice to you as a tenant. It prevents disputes. There will be no argument of this was how, this is what we agreed on, this is not what we agreed on. With your tenancy agreement, everything is spelled out. So you can just go there and say, what did we agree about this thing? And then you read it. So it prevents dispute, it prevents argument. Another very important aspect of a tenancy agreement is the fact that it spells out the length of notice that is to be issued in case of a determination or termination of the agreement. You understand? So by reason of a tenancy agreement, or since I had told us already what and what you need that has to be in your tenancy agreement. So with your tenancy agreement, it will give you understanding and what you need to do when you want your tenant to leave. Last but not the least, this, as a tenant, you have quiet enjoyment of the property. So if you have a tenancy agreement, by reason of this tenancy relationship, your tenant, your landlord, because we have situations where, especially those that are living where their landlord is living, they wake up in the morning, they will say, why is this door open in this particular way? Hey, Mr. A, you see that door that you're opening like that? You better be mindful. You don't know how much, and all of those kind of things. It will prevent interference. By reason of that tenancy agreement, you have exclusive right to quiet enjoyment of the property without interference. The landlord does not have the right to just come in and out of your house or come and be holding quarrel with you as to why did you pour this water here? Why didn't you pour it there? Why did you match your leg there? Why did you drive your car and keep it like this? Why is the face facing that way? So by reason of this tenancy agreement, you have quiet enjoyment. There are a lot of other things, but these are just a few. If you feel there are more things you want us to address, kindly include it in the comment section, and trust me, we are here to address it. You see this law, you must know it. In law, ignorance of the law is not an excuse. So know this law today so that you will not be a victim tomorrow.